Well, good morning, gamers. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining the BlueGamer Bluecast morning show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, professional video game enjoyer for the past 30 plus years. Yeah, so thanks for joining. We're going to jump into some game news, my analysis on that. And usually, I like to talk about what I've been playing. But no new news on that, really. Yesterday, the only game I played was some more Harmony of Dissonance, just trying to get through it again. I'm near the end anyway, but like I said, the save file messed up, so I'm doing it again. I'm near the end anyway, but just playing that game, it's a very fun, relaxing Castlevania. I think it's almost the lowest stress of the Castlevanias, because there's still that thing without Castlevanias, Metroidvanias, of when you die and you have to start over at certain points. The thing with Harmony of Dissonance, it's at a time before fast travel became super norm, so the fast travel points in that game are few and far between, and I think that helps it make it fun, because at the same time, the areas you have to traverse and explore are actually pretty easy to explore, so it's just kind of a fun listen to some cool music while exploring the castle. And the music is interesting because with Harmony of Dissonance, they didn't have... Oh, hold on a second. Am I seeing the audio do that thing again? Hold on. Okay. So, yeah, the one thing with the music in Harmony of Dissonance is when they were first making the game, they had, like, I guess it was on Game Boy Advance, so they had to figure out, okay, do we put everything into the graphics, into the music, into the stages. They even had to make the sprites just small enough, and that meant that the music was not going to have that much resources for it, so it's very chiptune. It sounds like NES music, but it's like very well done NES music, so for that it's charming, unique in that way. All right, so let's see. Yeah, deja vu with what's up, Steven? Yeah, with the audio thing. That was kind of weird. It only does it on this. I wonder if I have to hit the reset on the mic every time. Maybe. All right, so yeah, not much that I was playing, so we're going to jump right into something I think is interesting, and that's going to be the games releasing this month. Since it is now May, new month, new games coming out. Ultronum, so I wonder how many of those tracks got updated. That's a good point, because I know in the Harmony of Despair, there is some updated tracks. I'll have to check what from Harmony of Dissonance got updated. That's a good one. All right, so let's look at May's release here. We've got Toho Mystia Zizek, again, long Japanese characters strung together, and I'm having trouble. Or a Japanese term, not really characters. And that's on the Switch. I have no idea what this is. Let me look it up real quick. It's something that is on Steam. Oh, wow, the graphics are really good, but I have no idea what this is. It's a pixel art restaurant simulator. That's neat. I'm not sure about that. Oh, saying it's a shmup. Oh, that's right. I've seen that word used with shmups. I'll have to look that up. Okay, Endless Ocean Luminous, Nintendo Switch. So this is like a sequel to another Endless Ocean that they had. I think it was on the Wii. Never played it. I don't know if I will. This is more of a immersive game. Prison Architect 2, May 7th. V Rising, May 8th. So V Rising is like a isometric top-down. It looks like an ARPG, but it's termed as survival. The thing about this V Rising, it's supposed to have some cool Castlevania DLC, which makes sense since it is a vampire-based game. So it'll be neat to see what they do with that. Animal Well, okay. Crow Country, interesting. That's beginning of May. Gift, Little Kitty, Big City. So that's neat, because I saw this and it reminded me of that, and I forget the name again, the cat game that came out about a year ago that wasn't really a cat game. Stray. It started as a cat, but then you became like a robot cat or something. That's actually when I dropped off of the game. Once it became where you're manipulating this like mechanical thing that you get attached to the cat. It was like less about being a cat. This might be more about running around like a cat. Open world playground where you're a cat. I mean, that sounds pretty neat. All right, Homeworld 3, which I never got into the first two, so let's see. Okay, the Rogue Prince of Persia, which I find very fascinating because they already had a Prince of Persia game come out at the beginning of the year. And then Dead Cells had some Castlevania, but then they're having them do Prince of Persia. Interesting. I don't know what to think. Braid Anniversary Edition. I wonder if I will play that. I remember when I first played it. It was interesting at the time and the reveal at the end, but then once that wore off, I just didn't think about the game much. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on PC, which is really cool. Like, I've almost beaten it on PS5, so I'll probably just finish that. But here is the thing. I still haven't bought Stellar Blade because that was my thought. Like, pay $70, get it on my PS5, or pay for a director's cut version inevitably on PC where I get maybe all the content. And then because it's on PC, then I can play it on multiple devices. See, that's the thing. That's what Sony is making me think now. It's like, would I want to play a game on a Sony console? Really now, no, because with PC I have options anywhere. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Interesting. Okay, Senua Saga Hellblade 2. So this is the big Xbox release, May 21st. Will I play this? Yes, because I think it's going to be on Game Pass anyway, but I want to kind of try it out and see. I'm curious. To me, this seems like the answer to the modern God of War that Sony has, but I'm hoping it's a little more unique than that, so we'll see. I did play the first one, actually, and I thought it was okay. It looked incredible. It was neat, but I never beat it. Paper Trail. System Shock Remake. I was like, yeah, didn't that already come out? But that must have just been PC, because these are the consoles. Playing Kafka? Haunty. Duck Detective, The Secret Salami. Okay, I think I have to search that. Okay, yeah, not my type of game, but it is kind of cool to see this. That's funny. Interesting. Yeah, kind of like, detective game. Kind of like those point and clicks. I was actually looking up King's Quest 6 yesterday because... Was I talking about this yesterday? Either here or somewhere, like in the 90s, there's all these like CD-ROMs for PC of all these games. Some were like indie games, shovelware, whatever. And then I remember one being King's Quest 6. And at the time playing it, I was like, as cool as this game is, I don't like that I have to click around everywhere. But kind of a classic. Let's see, Withering, or was that Wuthering Waves? World of Goo 2, that seems like a big deal. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, so I think this is the GameCube game remade for Switch. Interesting that as a GameCube game, they don't have it released under... It's almost like Nintendo doesn't see GameCube as retro yet. And I could see that. There's really a lot of GameCube games that look good, and I think the GameCube kind of graphics, I think have kind of been throughout, like the Wii U to the Switch, where it's more of they refined edges, textures, but I feel like the graphics aren't too dissimilar, even though it's like 20 years. That's crazy to think. That could just be me. All right, Songs of Silence, Multiverses. Okay, so that was what came out. I want to say it might have been last year, and then it was just temporary. It's like a Smash Brothers clone. I played it with my son a little bit, and it was pretty neat, but, there's so much to play. 9 Souls, PC and Mac, Scald Against the Black Priory on PC, F124, and Nightmare Cart. Let's look at Nightmare Cart, because that... Oh, is that the one that's supposed to be like Bloodborne? It has like PS1 graphics, actually. Yeah, almost like Bloodborne. I don't know. Bloodborne Cart. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. It was called Bloodborne Cart, and then they had to rename it, and they renamed it to Nightmare Cart to make it a real release. I would check that out. You got like the PS1 graphics, classic kind of kart gameplay. And that was funny because that wasn't that a thing on the was it the Xbox Indie Showcase or another reveal? There's like this new kart game coming out where it has like tons of players at once. Yeah, so when I look at this, there is not anything that is like, oh, I have to play this, I have to play that. So this is something we're expecting this year where the months are going to look a little dry. Although this really gives me time to continue playing my Castlevanias, maybe play some more Dragon's Dogma 2, and just prepare for the Elden Ring DLC. So, yeah, let me know if there's anything you guys are looking forward to in May. I don't know, May seems pretty dry. Okay, let's jump into some news, see what news is going on. I'm gonna hit refresh here. Okay. Take-Two reportedly closing its Seattle office. Okay, so that's just more consolidation we're seeing from these bigger companies. Now that, again, this year we're seeing that the industry just making those shifts. Less games. They're kind of making smaller size teams. Gray Zone. So I keep hearing about Gray Zone, but you know what? Let's see. Gray Zone Warfare, it can seem like a daunting game at first. It features a wide open world that's fraught with danger, and a single bullet can mean instant death in the unluckiest of scenarios. With intense combat mechanics, detailed healing elements, and a challenging approach to quests and tasks, Gray Zone Warfare is tough. Okay, so it doesn't really say too much, except I think it's like another escape from Tarkov, kind of making the more tactical shooter games. And I won't touch this unless I hear something from the people I follow in the gaming space in terms of like games they play, if they are playing this or talking about it. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, even like how to fix frame rate issues. So, yeah, this game is getting a lot of news. Interesting. It's out now as an early access title, but it hasn't hit the market without a few teething issues. It's an open world extraction shooter. Okay. Built on that aims to be deeply realistic. Huh. Interesting. Let's see. Monster Hunter Stories 2 Remaster. Well, I don't know if I'd play that, but that's cool. El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron HD Remaster. So that's neat. I played this on, I forget if it was Xbox or 360, and I think it was a digital title. It was actually pretty neat. I could see myself playing an HD Remaster. Yeah, it was a neat game. It looked really cool. Wow, there's a lot. It's funny how sometimes on this feed, like, you'll have the entire article. Okay, tickets go on sale for Bit Summit Drift, Japan's leading indie game expo. Oh, that's neat. A Japanese indie game expo. So, okay, I'll have to keep an eye out for this. They make that look like Smash. Interesting. I got some Pokemon news. Horizon Call of the Mountain director made redundant by Fire Sprite. Is this just another, consolidation? I mean, even the Horizon VR, who really asked for it, and with that little PS2 VR support going on, it's, I could see that. Korea plans to grow console industry in the next 5 years. Korea's Ministry of Culture, Sports, Tourism has said it intends to grow the country's console market by 2028 in order to revitalize its games industry. As reported by Yonhap News Agency, the government unveiled its 5-year plan on Wednesday, aiming to reduce its reliance on mobile and online platforms and boost console sales. Consoles currently make up, I don't really understand that. If anyone else can add something in here. Let's see. Consoles currently make up 28%, but Korea's share of this market is only 1.5. So, with all that's going on in general with the games industry and the move away from consoles, I find this to be strange unless they're able to create some sort of pocket economy or market for gaming where, for instance, there's the tech toy consoles that probably haven't heard of it, but in South America or Brazil specifically, that was its whole thing. It was a whole console platform based on the Master System. But it lived there. It had games being ported, like even Duke Nukem, well into the late 90s. So that could be what they mean. Almost they want to have their own economy market of console gaming, because at the same time I think, well, I mean, just look up, I mean, is it the consoles manufacturing that's a big deal, or is it just having the games people are buying? So I don't really understand what they're really trying to get out of this, unless this thing to plan for consoles is more of an misunderstanding turned into an initiative in Korea of the government, and not necessarily it's like a group of game console companies or whatever going, hey, we need a console market. I don't know. I find that interesting. Oh, wait a minute. Ultronomous just said something that was pretty good. Given the industry is moving away from it, they might see this as a void they can fill. That's a great point, because I do think there's room for consoles. You just have to know your margins and know, like, you can't always just bank like millions. You know, I think it's what we see all the time with this, like, I don't know, what do you call it? Economy creep, capitalism creep. It's where, like, you know, because of stakeholders wanting more and more and more, these companies are like, okay, well, we need more, make more money and more money. Okay, well, yeah, maybe the foundational business you started then doesn't work when you're expecting money to a certain degree. It's a very good point. If they're smart about it and they're like, you know, we could create consoles, hardware, which you can see now anyone can make hardware. So what if, yeah, Korea comes out with some really cool hardware to make people attracted to it and have some, you know, quality of life features? I don't know. It's pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for that thought there. Live service subscriptions and free-to-play, a new reality for console gaming? Again, I feel like... Okay, let's read this. I feel like this is a 5-year-old article. Okay, Ampere Analysis, Piers Harding Rolls breaks down... It sounds like food. Now I'm hungry. Breaks down the biggest changes in business models across the console space and what this means for developers and publishers. Okay, so here's Piers. Let's see what he's saying. Over the last 5 years, there's been tremendous change across the console game, driven by the growth in live service games, the increase in free-to-play titles, and the burgeoning influence of multi-game subscription services. This has dramatically altered the competitive landscape of consoles, impacted how game developers and publishers successfully launch new games, get their games noticed, pull in new players, and drive engagement if they are looking to achieve financial return at the scope and scale of something like Fortnite or Roblox, which then does not translate to the average game. So let's really see what this guy's talking about. My talk at GDC this year laid out the challenges of today's market as industry gets to grips with escalating costs. And again, this escalating costs, these are arbitrary costs that are put on by the publishers and developers themselves, and it's not needed. You can see that with the recent releases like Pal World and Helldivers 2, which are super popular and making a lot of money for those companies. And it had low cost to begin with, while competing against entrenched games as platform hundreds of new releases. Subscription services are most important on consoles. Again, that doesn't make sense. The console gaming software and service market is arguably the most dynamic part of the game sector in terms of business models. No one business model dominates console gaming in 2024, and over the next few years, Ampere's outlook for the monetization dynamics across console remain largely similar, with in-game subscriptions and premium monetization all playing a significant role. I will say, though, they're saying no one business model dominates console gaming in 2024, but technically, if we look at, for instance, Xbox, hardware sales are low because it doesn't matter. They're doing good this quarter. Sales are up. But they also have a larger active monthly user base than PlayStation, even though PlayStation has sold more hardware. It is because PlayStation is almost like the... I don't know. I cannot come up with it. Like Frito-Lays. You're going to go buy some chips in the house. Okay, we'll get some Frito-Lays. This analogy is horrible because really the thing with Xbox is usually people go to Xbox now is what I think it is. People go with or stick with Xbox because Game Pass offers a diverse range of games that you can play. That's why you're seeing, across PC and Xbox, higher monthly active usage compared to PlayStation. Let's see. Where console gaming differs significantly from all other gaming Yeah, multi-game. Okay. The recent news that Microsoft Game Pass only reached 34 million paid subscribers, even with the conversion of Live Gold subs to Game Pass Core, and the year-on-year fall in Sony's PS Plus subscribers underlines our view that subscriptions are not going to dominate monetization in games as they have done in other media sectors. Okay, so I could see that. If he's talking broadly outside of video games, yeah, sure. That makes sense. Also, this kind of went to my point before. There's a ceiling you're gonna hit, and I think again, a lot of times these companies don't really realize it, so they're just expecting more and more. Even so, spending on console subscription services is expected to grow to a 27% share of the total console games and service market by 2026. Note includes Game Pass Ultimate and PS Plus Premium. The expanded role of subscription services as distribution and discovery channels has added a layer of complexity to the console competitive landscape, which didn't exist 5 years ago. I kind of want to get to the gist of what he's saying. Game Pass and PS Plus are undoubtedly impacting how a segment of smaller publishers or self-publishing developers bring their games to the market. Yeah, I agree with that. So let me go back to this title again. Live service subscriptions, a new reality for console gaming. I just think it's weird that they're saying a new reality for console gaming, because what's going to happen is, the reason that the Game Pass subscription works so well for Xbox is because it's not just on console. The reason, so again, this is almost like the thing with Korea with console. Like, why do they keep going back to console? Unless there's something new we don't know if that's happening. And this could be related to how hardware is becoming more streamlined to make very powerful handhelds. And so that could be what we're seeing is maybe these companies are seeing, okay, we're going to start seeing all these like proprietary badass handhelds coming out that are going to be competitively priced. I don't know. I feel it's weird when they're like for console gaming. Because I guess what I'm just seeing in the future is, yeah, sure, more consoles can be made. It's like kind of an easy way to kind of introduce someone to a gaming platform if PC is not their thing, because that could be anybody. It's almost like when Ubisoft made that Assassin's Creed movie. It wasn't to make an amazing movie. It was just to market Assassin's Creed. And so I think that's what a console is in a way. It's almost like marketing. Here's what the types of games are we can make, but then you can play them on PC and anywhere else. That's what we're going to see in the future. And while subscription services are going to exist, because again, that's like the Assassin's Creed for Ubisoft. It's a way to market the games. It's a way for deals to be made between publishers and the platform holders in order to like maybe get games that would be seen lesser, like out in front of people. It's just weird to kind of word things around console gaming. Let's see, Autonomous. I feel like they're just trying to use subscriptions and other monetization as an excuse to justify their excessive money spending. We can make overpriced games if we milk them along the way. Exactly. But for free games, this is expected as it's free. You aren't getting money otherwise. Yeah. But I also could have just horribly misunderstood because this doesn't talk about live services. You bring up a really good point where, they're saying there's like a mix of things, the live services, the subscription models, and then playing games multi-platform. I feel like there's too much of a, I guess I don't want to explain it. Like, I would not look at consoles as a separate segment at all. It's going to be, I would have PC and console together. And because the thing with that is, like, on PC, outside of a platform holder, you can release a game for anyone to download and play. Like, let's say Pal World, for instance, is on Game Pass, but they could have just easily just released it with their own launcher and everything, and that, which again makes things a little more harder to track or understand. I guess what I'm really getting at is there's no formula. You just have to make a good game. A platform holder just needs to have a large library available like Microsoft does. Having a subscription service or live service, I think, are just options that these platform holders need to keep in mind. But it's not a new reality for console gaming, unless it's just the headlines off. That doesn't make sense. In fact, even though we're going to have a slow 2024, in terms of games. I think games are just going to get better because when you're under pressure, you're restricted, you're limited. Sometimes more interesting output can come out of that. Yeah, probably just a headline to grab people's attention. Yeah, maybe. It just, yeah. And maybe consoles are used. The term console is maybe just talking about, I don't know. Yeah, because even Nintendo is in like a completely different world than like PlayStation and Xbox, and they can exist on their own in their own way. It's very interesting. Yeah, I think that's about it then. Yeah, very interesting. What is it? Gaming demand is down a lot. I don't know if it's down a lot. Again, it's the reaction to COVID. It's more these companies are dumb a lot. Alan Wake 2 has yet to turn a profit, continues to sell at a high price. Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, this is definitely Epic's little Unreal 5 thing. Anyway, I have to get going, but this was a great morning. Kind of go through what games are coming out in May, which is not too much, and then just analyzing some news. So yeah, kind of boring at the end of the day, but there's always something to talk about. Anyway, thanks for joining. It was a lot of fun. I'll be doing this again tomorrow, so until then, be cool.